And I'm live. This is Lisa Allen with Timing Magic with Lisa, and I'm on Facebook today giving you guys, this is the second time now that I've been on Facebook providing free timing readings. And what I mean by that is for people who already kind of know what's happening, either through their own intuition or from readings that they've received or doing their own readings, whatever it is, and the themes come over and over again that you already know what it is, what's going to happen. You don't know when. Okay, that's where I come in. I'm a timing specialist, and it kind of happened to me. I just figured it out. Like it was one of those things where you kind of figure out what your talents are and how you would stand out in a field, like versus what other people's talents are. And mine just happens to be timing. I can do that really quickly. I do it with dowsing with a pendulum, and that's how that works. So I wanted to share with you, bam, here we go. So this is my Patreon page, and you'll see that the banner that my lovely friend Steph Zahalka made for me was it's timing confidence. And what I mean by that is these are services that are made for you, the psychic individual, okay, who already knows what's going to happen, but you need to know when. And I am offering a really good deal, a really good deal. It's basically less than $9 a reading when you ask me for timing. And I even thought about, like, even professional people that may struggle with a timing of one of their clients, they could even ask me timing for their client if they don't have any questions for themselves, that it could be something like that. So I also made a package that was for 3 times a week for people that would use my services 3 times a week. So that's 12 readings for $77. Gosh, I don't even know the math on that right now. It's probably even less than $9 a reading on that note. So I was trying to make it very affordable. And what I'll do is I'll scroll down so you can see what it looks like. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see my cursor spinning around. This is the once a week. It would happen on Thursday evenings, and it would be delivered to you by Friday morning. So within the Patreon, in the back end, there's a messaging function. You can message me on Patreon with your question, okay, and I answer you in Patreon, and that is received by Friday morning. So I just wanted to tell you how this worked. And then for the 3 times a week package, that's the $77. Okay. And you'll see I only have a limited amount of people that I can do this for, because I literally won't be able to do it at this price for very long. I want to build a core group of people, and I would like to keep it to be where their price never changes. Like, so that as long as they stay a Patreon member with me at the level that they're at, or maybe even if they want to scale up or down or whatever, but if they stay with me, then they get the price honored when my prices go up, because this is just a stupid deal. Okay. So I wanted you to know about that, and I can remove that for now. And if you guys are curious about how to get readings or anything else, I can share a different screen, and it is for my link tree. So you'll see here, this is where you can go for YouTube later today at 4 o'clock Pacific time. I'm going to be going on YouTube. This is how you find my YouTube video, is in the first link that is kind of shaking around. Okay. And then all of my social media, all of my stuff, it's up here at the top. And then the Patreon, the timing confidence offer is right here. You can book your consultations with me with Square, or I also take Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, some other things. I recently redid my website, so you guys can check that out. I have Google for Business if you guys want to do like, a rating of my services, or, just mark me in Google. That would be awesome. This is a master replay list for all of my live streams, including Facebook, because I upload a copy to YouTube so that you guys can reference them pretty easily. So you don't have to dig in my timeline on Facebook. It's a little hard to find the videos. So I just thought I would do that. And then if you are interested, I also have freebies, which it's not in my text right now, but it also includes an old copy of a PDF book that I did a while ago for the Guardian Gateway with Kim Wilborn, and it's called Tarot Card Timing. And I thought that that would be really, interesting for you guys as a gift for coming on to my list. And I don't email often, just to let you know. I try to do most of it on social media, but every now and again I will email you. And then at the bottom is the contact me. So if you want to get a hold of me in order to do Venmo or in, anything else. And of course you can contact me right in the Facebook Messenger if we're friends. You can also contact me through Messenger on my Timing Magic with Lisa page. So either way, you'll get a hold of me. So let's get this party started. And let me see if there's anybody in the chat room yet. Doesn't look like it, which is totally fine. So we can do a theme for today to see where everybody's at. So whether you're watching this live or whether you are watching the replay, I thought that maybe I could pull a couple cards for what the themes are right now that we're dealing with, and maybe some advice, or just to be aware of something that's going on, and maybe what kind of directions to take things. So let's see here. We have, okay. Yeah, some of us are dealing with this. This is the Three of Swords. This has a lot to do with how our heart is broken. And with Venus, the planet of relationships, being retrograde, as well as Mercury being retrograde. And we are getting ready to enter a dark moon phase, which is where we do releasing. This card does not surprise me. Okay. There are lots of influences going on right now that are all about breaking our hearts. Okay. And it has to do with loss. And what it is that this is a time for clearing. It's not really a time for new beginnings yet. It will be soon. First, we need Venus to go direct. That's actually coming soon. It's in about 4-5 days, something like that. Okay, so hang in there for the Venus, relationship stuff, and especially if you're a Taurus or a Libra. We also have a dark moon period right now, and the new moon is going to be in Aquarius, but it also will bring in the Chinese New Year. And this Chinese New Year coming in is a lot more like it's more changeable, it's more daring, it's more dynamic. It's very, it could be like a roller coaster. But for some of us who are stuck in patterns from this past year because it was the metal ox, this year is going to be the water tiger. So there's a lot more movement going on. Now, I know that movement, like when it's too much movement, can be a little disconcerting, but that is better than stagnancy. Okay. So, there's people that really like stability, and that's totally fine, but we still need movement within that. And this would be a good year to, ride the waves with that. Okay. Let me pull one more card and see what the advice is for processing out this heartache. Okay, and we have the Knight of Cups, and this has to do with us moving. Okay, so the Knights are all about movement. Okay, like you usually see on other cards that they're on horses, right? And horses move. Okay, so This card has to do with the movement of emotions. Okay, so it's literally telling you this is the time to move on with the emotions. Okay, and it will be a better time. By February 3rd, we will be out of all the retrogrades. And hi, Dee. Oh, excellent. Hello. When will I move? Let me see if the highlight function works in. Oh, it does. Interesting. Okay. So the highlight function in StreamYard works for Facebook too. I did not realize that. Okay. One more card for how to move this energy of this emotion. Oh, okay. Well, this is wonderful. So we need to look at the support of our people that have been there for us in the past in holding our backs, the feel good energy of like, that foundational energy of family, friends, like relationships from the past that are working for you. That's what this card says. So 6 of Cups, if you guys need to hear it. So it was the 3 of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the 6 of Cups. So getting my pendulum here, we're going to ask for D. Allen. And no, we're not related. Okay. D says, hello, when will I move? Okay. So days, weeks, months, years, and this is what I do. And then my pendulum is swinging 2 months. Okay. Let's see when you will move. Okay. It says for you, 3 months. 3 months, you'll move. Okay. Now, in hindsight of the reading, does that make sense to you, Dee? I'm curious. And, or were you looking for a different result? And I'll go ahead and wait for you to type that. Oh, brilliant. Okay. So she says, wow, thank you. Okay, so that's right on the time. You can deal with that. You can prepare for it. Okay, excellent. Much quicker than you planned. That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay, so many good wishes for you moving in the timing of 3 months or better. Like, hey, we'll ask for or better. So, okay, yeah, 3 months. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty strong reading for 3 months. So I think you're going to find something at that time. So, yay, very good. So not sure if anybody else is popping on for sessions today. Earlier in the video, if some of you might be watching the replay and you saw my Patreon offerings, which are for psychic people that know that something's going to happen, but they don't know when. I'm offering a $33 a month, which breaks down to about less than $9 a reading, because it's 4 readings a month for $33 a month. And we do all of the messages on the back end of Patreon. There's a messaging function inside of it. And if you guys need some guidance, maybe what I should do is maybe do a video about the back end of Patreon so that you guys can see how that works. Okay, so that you have, because some of you are on Patreon and you support other artists and things like that, but you haven't like really used it for something like what I'm doing, which is actually, and the reason that I'm doing it this way is that it'll allow me to provide free readings as a service to the community so that they understand why timing is really important for, the psychic field. There's a lot of people that don't know that it's really possible. And the reason is because most psychic people receive their information from an area, the psychic realms where there is no time per se. Okay. The reality that we live in, okay, quote marks, the third dimensional reality though does experience a time. And, here we are in the human meat suit bodies. And, that's just one of our experiences that when we're here. So in the spirit world, there's like no time. It's like everything is all at once and everything is forever. And, you know, that's how it works. And then it changes. Okay. So it's hard to get that information for timing. So I see why a lot of people don't get timing. And what I end up doing, and I realize that I concentrate on the area that is between the psychic realms and the third dimension, and I see it kind of like in a bandwidth, if you will, and some things come down through, and then I can predict, like weather, the timing, but it can get interrupted too, like by other energies, other intentions, other, you know, other things. So it's not 100%. But do you, like, when you watch the weather, I mean, it's accurate maybe about what, 50% of the time, but we still watch the weather, right? Because it still helps us in our planning. So that's what I want to do, is I want to be able to help all of you who are psychic be better at your life planning. Okay. For Dee, like for her moving, it's much better to know that she has energies that are allowing what she wants to have happen in 3 months time. Okay. What if she didn't know that? Like, what if she would be like, well, you know, is it ever going to happen? Or is it, you know, or is it going to happen so suddenly that I can't handle it? Now she can kind of, you know, prepare for that on some level. And it'll actually probably work even better, because her intentions are going to be, okay, you know, 3 months time, and then she'll be ready for that. And it'll actually pave the way and make the timing actually more grounded and more accurate because of her own intention. So it's not just me, that it's a relationship between, you know, the collective as well as the person that's experiencing what it is that they're asking the question about, and then me being, I guess, like a mediator, or, you know, an estimator. Okay, but a pretty good estimator. Okay, if I should say so myself. So I hope that explains a little bit. And if nobody else pops on with questions, I may get going here soon. Let me see here if there's anything else. Oh, actually, before I go, and I was talking about grounding in YouTube the other day, and I thought that I would tell some of you who are interested in possibly doing some of your own timing yourself, the tarot card timing book that is a PDF that is in my Timing Magic Insiders group on Facebook, as well as on my email list. Or if you want it, just, you know, email me or write me on Facebook, and let me know, hey, I want that tarot card timing book or something, and I'll give it to you. What it is that we talked about how time comes from a place of no time, right? Which that's literally it. Now, if you are trying to determine timing for yourself, for, in, you know, like maybe you're watching me and thinking, wow, you know, like maybe I should try this or whatever. And I encourage you to try it, but you have to be grounded. Okay. That is absolutely number one in order to do this. And many people who are psychic, unfortunately, are also not grounded, to, you know, because their concentration, their energy is up in the ethers, and it's not in the earth. And the idea is that we actually do both simultaneously, that we're in the psychic and we're in the earth, and we're doing it together. That's ideal. Okay. But it's like walking and chewing gum at the same time, something like that, right? It's like not an easy thing to do. For, okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'll unhighlight. Okay, I can unhighlight the, thank you, Dee, for coming by. I really appreciate that. So I wanted to talk to you about how I do grounding. And what I do is I visualize like my roots, okay, my, you know, energy roots, whatever you want to call it, but from my body, my feet, everything going down into the earth. And then while I'm doing that, I also create a grounding cord. Thank you. Okay. I create a grounding cord down to the center of the earth. Okay. And so the roots pull up the source energy from the earth and circulate it upwards. And I circulate it over my head. Okay. So that it goes through all my chakras, including the chakras that are above your head. Okay. I believe that the one above your head is called the soul star, but I'm not sure about that. I just know that there's one up there. Okay. So I pull up all of the earth energy and I kind of make like a mountain, like a triangle of energy that comes up, and I'm a tree, right? And then I expand my branches, right? Arms, like everything. Okay. Even my hair, like I visualize that being part of my extension to the sky energy. And I download the sky energy through my crown chakra, the third eye, the throat, everything. And I pull it all the way down to my earth star chakra under my feet. Like, so it's about 2 feet under your feet, like wherever you are. Okay. So that you have this kind of, like this reverse triangle from spirit and sky and the stars and the sun and the moon, right? And the planets coming down in this way, and then the earth energy coming up this way, and then you are in the center. And so I visualize that energy swirling around, clearing out each of your chakras, and you can like think about it like, the crown, the third eye, like, or you could do it in reverse order if that's what you feel right with, like maybe the root chakra first, and then the orange chakra, and then the solar plexus, and then the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. Okay. And then the soul star is above us, and then the earth star is below your feet. Okay. And swirl out all of the energies that don't belong. And then for the stuff that doesn't belong, the static, the icky, the stuck, the sadness, all of the stuff that we don't want anymore, we can send down into the earth via a grounding cord. So in the center, like not your roots, but in the center, you put a grounding cord. So all of your energy that's around, you can like tell that energy go down the grounding cord. It's like a drain. And so it'll go down the grounding cord, go to the center of the earth, and then it transmutes. It's kind of like composting or recycling. Okay. It takes all of that energy, transmutes it into new source energy so that we can do new things with that energy, and we pull it up through our roots. Does everybody kind of visualize that? So when we bring up the earth energy and we bring down the sky energy, we get all of the psychic stuff, we get all of those things, but we're also very grounded to the earth. And so we can do 3D and 5D simultaneously. And I like the example of trees because I think that trees are like in some ways a lot more wise than we are, as far as being in all the realms at one time. And so I just kind of use that energy. If you have a particular tree that you like to work with, visualize it. Or like if you work with the like say for instance the Celtic Autumn calendar, you can do this tree like in whatever month that it is, and you can like pretend that that's the kind of tree you are, and then shift it around to different trees. So that's just something to try if that's what you want to do. If you're a if you are like of a Norse pagan or a Satru background, you might want to do an ash tree because the world tree Yggdrasil was an ash tree. So you might want to do ash tree. If you're more druid type, you might want to do an oak tree. Or if you have like relationships with hawthorn or willow or other things, like, or try them out all, like you might want to just play around with that. And even trees that we don't think of like as trees, but like palm trees. Okay. Like here in SoCal, like we have palm trees, right? You know, other places there's evergreen trees like, you know, pine and fir and spruce. Um, Whatever feels right to you, try it out and see like how you like grounding with that. So that's my, you know, that's my Facebook lesson today. So, um, tarot and oracles. Okay, so when you guys get the tarot timing book, okay, you'll notice that tarot cards have a lot to do with more circumstantial timing than it actually does in chronological timing. And what I mean by that is that the energies of the cards, okay, are like, let's just say I wanted to draw a card and when will I do something? And then you get this card that is the Hanged Man, actually. And on my card deck, it says sacrifice. Okay. So in this case, it's saying, it's not saying 3 days or 2 months or anything like that. What it's saying is when you make the proper sacrifice, right? Do you get where I'm going with that? So a lot of times tarot cards are for circumstantial, meaning once you decide to do something and then you change your timing. Okay. And by the way, I recommend you know, like doing circumstantial, like, you know, making sure that you do your work so that you are having a clear path and not a blocked path to the things that you want. Okay. And another way to work with tree energy that's more on the emotional stage is to work with batch flower essence therapy. And some of these are flowers actually of regular plants, but many of these are actually trees. And this one is larch that I'm holding, and it's empty now because I used it up a long time ago. But I wanted to show you guys what it looked like, and that there's lots of different energies that you can work with in these bottles by taking the drops of these. And one good one right now, because we are in a Taurus Scorpio nodal shift now, at least tropically, and actually we have been sidereally for a little while also, that we've been in Taurus Scorpio energy. And this has to do with a need for letting go, but also to create boundaries that are like, hey, you know, I'm doing this, you know, and this is the North Node in Taurus, meaning, you know, that we need to do our own thing, okay, and not be entangled, you know, South Node with Scorpio energy, right? So what you may want to check out is one of these, okay, but with walnut, okay? So walnut, and I take it all the time. It's really good for transitions. It's really good for when you want to do something and you're really determined to do it and say, I'm going to do this, and you experience other people interrupting you and saying, oh, but you know, you're not there for me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like and they don't mean it harmfully. They don't mean it, you know, like in a bad way, but they can, you know, they're not really comfortable with you changing. Like they may feel like that they're abandoned, or that you don't love them anymore or something like that. So they hang on to the old way that you are. Walnut helps you to be able to say, no, I'm doing this anyway. I love you, but I'm doing this anyway, and you cannot stop me. Okay. And it allows you to have an energy that allows you to go forward with what it is that you want to do. And one of the reasons that this may happen is because the energy of walnut as a chemistry, walnut trees put out a chemical into the soil around them that doesn't allow any other trees to grow around them. Isn't that interesting? So in other words, they don't share their space. They have a, like, here's my boundaries. Okay. So we can actually learn a lot from walnut energy about, you know, that chemistry that says, no, this is our sovereign space. And, you know, we can still love and we can still be connected and we can still do stuff, but you cannot interfere with my space and what I'm trying to do and my projects and my this and my that. Okay. So I just thought I would share that tip with you guys, because I'm noticing a lot of people wanting to get things done. And as the new year comes with this daring year that we're going to have, Water Tiger, we're going to need all of the parts of like non-distraction that we can have. And I think that walnut is really, really good for that. And so what I'll do now, because Dee was the only one that popped by for a free reading today, no problem. Hey guys, if you're catching this live, or I'm sorry, replay, and then you're thinking, oh no, I missed my opportunity, I'll be doing it again at 4 o'clock today, but on YouTube. And so in my link tree, okay, that I showed you guys earlier, link tr.ee/timingmagic. Okay, you will see at the first like off-white banner that is there, it says free readings on YouTube. Click that and you will find the video where I'm going to be. Okay, and in fact, that link works for whatever my next future live is. And then you can actually at that point set a reminder, and then you'll get a phone notification like for when I do go on live, so you don't miss another opportunity to get a free session with me. Okay, so I'm going to get going, and thank you so much again, Dee, for coming. Thank you all who are watching the replay, and hopefully I'll see you on YouTube today, but if not, I'll see you in the future. Just take a look around for me, you know, follow me, you know, get subscribe, get notifications, all of that stuff. You'll find me around, and I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.